Hello and welcome back to the desk. We should hopefully be bringing that game very, very shortly. And of course, before the game even starts, we have to do the vetoes. And that means we have a discussion to have, gentlemen. Where do we see this going? Best of three, Fnatic. I mean, the question I just posed to you was, do Fnatic have a weak map? If you had to identify a weak map, and Natty, you made a very interesting point. You basically said, it depends on the day.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things where when you think about Fnatic as a team, it's really hard to start pinpointing a certain map, but then if there's a player who has a big role in a certain map, does certain things, who's not feeling it, could be a weak map. But it does not happen that often, so we're not really calling them weak maps.
Yeah, I don't think that's the fair judgment. And I mean, Devilwalk, you must have even more so insight.
I mean, the thing is, obviously you have the week-to-week, like what you feel is like a great map for you, but it's also how Fnatic like approaches maps against different teams, because every time like the veto priority list will be different for each team. It's not the same for everyone. It's dependent, since they have such a deep map pool, they will change their map like what they prefer depending on what team they face. So that's one of the biggest strengths of Fnatic right now, yeah.
And then so we kind of come to bans. Where do we see this one taking us?
Yeah, I mean, I can see them playing Mirage.
Okay.
Yeah, even though they lost against CLG, I think that could be one of the maps that we will see today.
I imagine Keith will actually ban out Mirage themselves, even though that was like that used to be the highlight map, but I feel like they haven't been having the best results on it recently, and they seem fairly realistic about that, which I'm really happy about. I hate it when teams get like a couple of good results on a map and then they keep playing it even though they keep losing it.
Right.
Like when Nip keep playing Cash for a long time, even though it's better now. It used to, or Dust 2. You know, that is painful. So I'm glad that they seem to be shying away from it. But we do have the veto here, so I guess we can see for ourselves.
Yeah, and we see Vugo, the head coach, doing the veto.
Ooh. This is that mind game you were telling us about, where Fnatic, they just send anyone up. They have a priority list.
They have actually prioritized
Cash getting vetoed out, Overpass.
Okay.
So Fnatic takes out Overpass, Keith takes out Cash.
Yeah, I think Overpass is one of the maps that actually Keith said they don't have a lot of chances to practice in NA recently, so they don't feel super confident, I think, on it. But
okay, Inferno. That's it seems like it's a map.
Well, I mean, it is a map, yeah.
Come on.
Cobblestone is the first one.
Keith likes to play Inferno for sure, but the problem really is how good Fnatic is on Inferno, and I think their form on Inferno has been pretty strong. And how is their playstyle going to affect? Because seriously, what we saw yesterday on Inferno, especially against TSM, Keith playing them, a lot of the rounds they got was based on the fact that TSM let Keith have control of Banana.
Yeah.
And once that wasn't available anymore, that's when Keith had a lot of problems. So if I'm playing against Keith, I would definitely make sure I have Banana control on my CT side, because that's going to weaken their attacks so much.
I mean, not to go too deep into yesterday's game between TSM and Keith, but something that was very cool is actually the way that Carrigan tried to call that map was he said, let's just try and take control of Banana and see what they do. How do they react to that control? Because if we know how they react in one round, maybe we know how they react in the future, and we'll keep sort of stacking information on the fly, essentially.
Yep.
Very smart way of playing, in fact. And I mean, I think Pronax is capable of doing something very similar, where you test something, you see how they react, and then you make adjustments in the following rounds. And Fnatic have players that are good enough to win a lot of rounds back like that. So,
I mean, it's also the advantage that we haven't really brought up, that they've actually seen Cade play Inferno, which makes a big part. Like, they could analyze on the spot while watching that match and see like the tendencies for sure. Like, they did a lot of A executes, Keed, and try to get the pick and get middle control.
So come on, if we had to like try and arrange like a sequence of events that would lead to Fnatic failing this best of three. We've got Dust 2 in here, which is potentially, like we say, weak in quotation marks. They're not bad on Dust 2, but if we had to like say a weaker map, maybe Dust 2. It's in the pool, it's the last map, so maybe if somehow something else goes wrong, Cobble the first one here, like what kind of series of events, how much of a mental breakdown on Fnatic are we looking for? Olofmeister not having his best day, or just having a bad day generally? Like, how many things have to go right here?
I mean, insanely amount, because I think they're like mentally prepared for this match, because they do not want to feel that shame again. Like, they do not. So, I mean, I've talked to them. They're really, really determined, and they know what the goal is and what to focus on in this matchup. So, I don't see it going any...
You feeling the same, Nato?
Yeah, they see an opportunity here. What's happened? TSM's out already. Envy's out already. They win this, and they're facing Virtus Pro in the semifinals. I'm pretty sure they feel pretty good about that matchup. Yeah. And if they beat Virtus Pro, they're playing against either C9 or CLG in the finals. So they can smell the victory already. They can smell that. So they're definitely going for that. And I seriously, what happened yesterday, I do agree with Jonathan here. I don't think that's going to happen again. And they're probably really mad, and they're going to just take that on all their opponents here on out.
We are almost writing Keed out of this game. And, I mean, the fact is you were looking for Anders. I think maybe he loses his lucky cap, Olofmeister, and some things go horribly wrong. Like that was actually some sort of toggle that he'd worked out with his cap. I don't know how else this is going to go.
The AC dies in the room, and it turns to 60 degrees inside. And
yeah, or maybe that's actually Keedstar's tactic. They are the ones controlling the sun. They're actually a sun god, and they've basically made that happen, raised the temperature across Europe, and we're struggling because of that. I mean, let's say I am struggling because of that. Every time we kind of hand to a break, I just sit here like clutching my face and hoping I can survive.
So I definitely think Fnatic will win this game, definitely. Yeah. But I don't want to write Keedstar completely off here. I don't think it's completely impossible that they could do it. But I think in talking of like what would need to happen, I think we need to see like a super explosive start. You know, like they have to just completely strip Fnatic of all confidence. If they win the first, let's say they win the pistol and then they win the fourth round too, and they do it so convincingly that Fnatic start to think, you know, what the hell is going on? How come we can't find any kind of entrance? Yeah. And even then, like, we know Fnatic is such a strong team, there will be a lot of rounds before they even start to think about breaking, but it has to be something like that. I think it's possible. It's very unlikely, but I think it's possible. I won't write them out completely.
Just fun fact, Olof likes playing mad.
He likes to play angry.
Yeah.
Okay, so that can actually kind of cost players as well.
How does that work out? Do they have Rugo slap him before the?
No. Come on. There's no initial, but it's like I feel like this is the perfect example of like when he likes to play mad. Like, I'm not gonna lose to these. Like, no way. Like pumping himself up with a bit of anger, and then he just performs.
Finds a new point of like aggression.
Yeah.
I mean, that can also be the death of you, surely. I know a lot of players who, once they lose their cool, they've lost that game. Like, that's the other side of it. And, of course, Olof, you know, being the mastermind, obviously, just uses anything that they give, I'm angry, I guess that'll make me play better. I mean, whatever.
It depends how you channel it.
Yeah.
How you channel that anger. Still there.
Is the cricket sound coming?
The cricket sound can come once the casters have finished casting this game. It is time to introduce them. It's Lauren and Moses who are going to be taking this one away. And you do just that.
Thank you so much, Alex and the desk, for breaking it down wonderfully. Kind of all the varying options available to Keed, let's say, to win this one. But there is obviously factors in work here. Fnatic have shown that they are human, surprisingly. Having some tough games, suffering some losses in group stages of tournaments. So you never know. But it's going to take some time. How are you feeling about this matchup?
You know, I'm excited that it starts on Inferno with how much success Keedstar's had on it against TSM. I think I'm pretty much aligned with the analyst desk that I don't have too much faith in them being able to win a best of 3 against Fnatic.
Yeah.
Part of the thing is this is actually a map that it's not surprising that Keedstar's like, because they do like to have some sort of structured execution, and with the way that this map the choke points can be smoked off for so long and delayed, it lends itself to some execution style strategy. So that could help them out, but I mean, just like Devilwalk said, Fnatic's not going to let them be comfortable setting up for an execute.
100%. And I think the biggest point is now we're going to see what happens when Fnatic get mad. These guys are going to be so much more focused. They've had an opportunity to now see Keed on this map against another, top tier level team, TSM, who clearly Fnatic understand as well. So surely you can imagine the Pronex can pull so much out of that game and be so mentally ready for this, considering they knew last night basically who they're playing. God only knows what they've been able to come up with, and I can't wait for this one to kick off. If you're going to hazard a guess, though, scoreline-wise, if you wanted to put maybe a number on it, I assume you're going with Fnatic here. But
yeah, I'm going to go Fnatic 2-0. On Inferno specifically, I think it'll be, I mean, I'd say around, if Fnatic starts CT, I think it's going to get really rough for Keedstars. I think if Fnatic starts CT, it's going to be something around like 16-8, 16-9. But that's the thing, you mentioned it, and they play angry. I mean, they had a wake-up call basically, and everyone who watched any of the POV streams knows the communication on Fnatic was night and day from when they played CLG to when they played TSM, and obviously the level of their opponent and the knowledge of who they're playing. But I mean, they're not going to make that mistake of seemingly looking past an opponent, no matter who it is anymore.
Exactly, and I'd like to kind of spin it on its head. They were discussing the kind of win conditions that would be needed for Key. Now, they went for some, aircon mishaps. They went for some other sort of factors. But is there anything that you can see? You've seen these guys throughout the regular season now during the online phases over in NA. Is there anything that they could force that might give them a chance here?
They're very weak on their anti-ecos. If they happen to win pistol, they very much struggle to win anti-ecos. Fnatic, on the other hand, is fantastic at their second round buys and CZs and Tech 9 buys. So that's something that you can see throughout the entire match that it could be very scary for Keatstar. So they need to make sure that they can, survive in those rounds. Also, much like against TSM, they need to get off to a good start. I think against TSM they got up like 6-1 based off some of those B hits early on, and TSM even made a little bit of a comeback from there, and was able to equalize the score a little bit. If they don't get out to that hot start and Fnatic starts getting a read on them, starts getting money built up, and they can start being aggressive and risking their weapons, then Keed's going to be in a lot of trouble.
They certainly will be. And we are seeing at least Keed keeping some numbers in the knife range. You said it'd be quite imperative almost to deny Fnatic that CT side, but it looks like they might just be able to claim it in this one, as Last Man Alive will be ZQK, and I've got to worry now. If Fnatic get that CT side confidence, they get that real nice big amount of rounds coming in, this is going to be one tough game. And Fnatic will get to choose side. We're going to see what they're going for here. They look pretty calm though.
Yeah, calm. It's like calm before the storm, really, with Fnatic, and they're just going to be so confident. And I'm sure they watched the VODs from last night or the demos and scouted it out. Know what's coming. Know they're going to have to watch for that kind of boost on the porch roof over in mid. They're going to have to watch out for those B executes, and that's just the big thing, because JW getting aggressive is just going to stop all of that. And
I love this. It just came to my mind because I remember seeing the T side that Keed brought out, them turning that second round on that force up they went for with those Molotovs to B. But now you've probably got the likes of Crim's playing towards it, one of the most renowned players at this. This is going to be a phenomenal match. So guys, let's get ready for this game between Fnatic and Keedstars. We are into the pistol, and no surprise here. Fnatic going to take that CT side, and on the T side, Keed are going to have to bring something through.
Well, and there's something to start with. It gets smoked off, but Fallen, he finds the kill anyways right through it. So 4 on 5 already.
And not a bad start at all. Keed just somehow going to gather that one together, and they needed a good start. That's certainly the step in the right direction, let's say. But there's still a lot of work to do here. We've got Flusher already starting to put himself towards that B site, as obviously they were down Olaf here. But now Crims and Flusher are going to be waiting this one through, as Steel does start bringing the bomb up here. And do you think they can actually commit towards this B play? I
doubt they commit with a minute left. They might poke and prod it a little bit, see what they can find, see if they can force Flusher out into the open. It's going to get smoked off here, but they should be able to scout out that there's nothing coming. So that actually JW turns around when they see no players.
And this is going to be interesting. Bolts is just holding the apps push as well. Pronax is getting so close to peeking out of here. This could be a disaster. Bolts isn't looking. He just missed. And I think Pronax might have just seen everyone working their way up towards mid. JW is in pit, and this is going to make it difficult. Still waiting over on towards Banana. Makes me think this may not be as simple as it seems. And it's not. They're wrapping through CT right now. Flusher's going to be receiving this. 3 players pouring through, and Flusher is not missing. Does manage to land a couple of shots, but Fur breaks in, gets the job done, and there's still Crims on B to get past.
Yeah, and what a force to have to get past. Great management of that mid B split by Fnatic. Flusher committing to the CT spawn, grabbing the kills. The bomb is going to get planted, but JW is going to keep being aggressive as he's known to do.
Well, let's see if he can pull it off. Great little flash will slow that down, but there's still Pronax and Crims. They've still got a lot to work with. A smoke in the bag there for JW. Crims with the defuse kit. And let's see what Fur and ZQK can do. Right now, not a great deal. And there we go. Wrapped up nice and cleanly by JW. As you said, being quite aggressive, then happily going for these shots.
Yeah, and that smoke over towards triple boxes forces him out to try and support his teammate, and he can't land the shot. So great triple kill from JW. But you read it perfectly. Pronax in the window spotting all of them. I mean, that's what kind of won the round. He knows they're coming up mid. It starts the rotation of Flusher over towards A, so when they turn towards CT spawn, he's able to grab a great angle behind the flower pot to pick off 1 kill.
It's almost just unfortunate. Bolts was almost watching that exact play, turned around a second before, but you know it's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But still, Keatstar's still going to be looking to maybe find something out. There's a couple of P250s and a Tech 9 there, but not going to have enough to go for the play that almost turned around against TSM last time.
Right, with the plan as well, they're going to be going into the 3rd round looking for AK-47, so not wanting to use too much economy into armor whatsoever, utility in this round here. and being very, very heavy in halls. There's actually no smokes whatsoever, so Pronax, this could just be a turkey shoot.
So much information he's gathered already these first 2 rounds. He just saw at least 2 players in apps. You can see JW just leashing all those bullets down there towards it, but it is going to be a little bit of a further play coming through from Keith. They are going to turn their attention maybe towards B, but still, smokes in hand. Crims with that Nova holding close, and a Tech 9 just in case it wasn't enough. So, a lot to work through here for Keith. They've got 50 seconds left.
Yeah, and waiting out the smoke is kind of indicative that they're coming back towards B. There's no presence on the map whatsoever, so Crims has got a great idea. They're coming towards him.
Yeah, he's going to back this one up. He's going to just readjust accordingly with that Nova. Take his time. Takes the shot. Fallen goes down. There's the second. Crims making it look easy. 3 kills back to back. Just mopping up Keed as they walk in the door. And Flusher already there and waiting. Nicely done by Fnatic.
Yeah, and look at the bank on Crims now. 7,000 with 3 shotgun kills. That's unbelievable. Just farming at that point. So now they've got 2 P90s that it doesn't even look like they're worried about upgrading at the moment. They pass them over to Crims and Olaf, but we do see that op onto JW.
Yeah, that's a bit of an impact coming through. And T-side, as you predicted, going to be going in towards the rifles here. You got the 2 of the Galils in play, 3 AKs, full head armor coming out. They're not messing around in this one. They want to get the job done here. And Crims pushing up a little closer, going to put himself by the sandbags. He's been controlling the pacing well on Banana so far. He's been reading their play pretty damn perfect.
Yeah, well, Fnatic's one of the best teams in the world at gathering information and making a decision in the mid-round based off that. So that's going to be something that Keed is going to struggle with throughout this match. But that op buy is actually huge, knowing that there's a 3rd round buy. So Crims farming with the shotgun. He's able to afford one, drops it to the teammate, and that puts him in a great position for this round. And Keed might not be expecting it.
We're going to see if that is going to be a factor. JW is actually peeking close to where Steel is, but doesn't get much of it. And still, what's the end goal for Keed? Can you see anything they've done before here, or are they just waiting out these smokes, trying to just maybe take away some of that utility from Fnatic?
They do have the one Molotov, but yeah, I mean, look, you can even see Fnatic. They understand that there's no presence over towards A. There's no mid control. They haven't been pressured at all. So there's a 3rd player cheating over towards B now. So they have a fantastic idea of what's going to happen. And Keatstar's falling back into what they did against TSM that was so successful was these B hits early on.
I can't wait to see if they go for this. You've got 3 players now. It's tough enough. You've got Olaf and Crims. Add Flusher into the mix, and they are going to go for something similar. Those mollies are coming through, but the flashes are there from Fnatic, but still Bolts comes in, gets the double. Finally, though, what the hell? That was a triple kill coming out from Bolts. This guy single-handedly just broke in towards B, cracked it open, still waiting for that rotate down mid, finds Pronax, and now JW with this AWP is in trouble. He's going to be spotted out. He's going to be going for that early shot and actually got pulled into that from Steel. And there we go, closing it down. Keed, this play on B is beautiful.
Yeah, really nice entries from Bolts there, and it's just a situation that's so unlikely. They were going against 2 P90s in that B bomb site, but still, the flashbangs, the molly and the oranges flushes the players out, doesn't give them a clean shot, and then Bolts just eliminates everyone. So this is that hot start that Keatstar's needed. They need to continue to build upon it because Fnatic, as we know they're going to do, they're going to first buy here. They do have an M4 onto JW, Scout on Olaf, but the rest it's CZs and P250s, and a chicken goes down.
This time not going to have the impact before. Fnatic, notoriously, we saw it against TSM, were just so strong on these rounds, turning so many times, just anything on its head with Scouts, with those CZs. So fundamentally good for them, but not going to have such an easy start to it. Olaf going down is going to at least kind of whittle down the numbers for Fnatic. What options does that leave for Keed? Or has that not really opened up the sights just yet for them?
It's Fnatic, so you want to be very cautious with it. And this is another round that they got an early pick here with over a minute left on the clock. So they have a lot of things that they can work with, especially because they know that Fnatic with the force buy, they don't have as much utility. They don't have smokes and flashbangs to use. So, and look at everything they have. They have the Molotovs and the flashes. They can force some utility out. And now look, I mean, Fnatic's completely empty of nade. Oh no, excuse me. Flush has a smoke and a nade.
They're all going towards B. Bolts has sold this like a champ, and Crim's still there, does pick up the kill eventually, but now look at Fallen and the rest. They're just going to walk straight in towards A. Absolutely no one present. Bomb's going to go down, and they should be well set up for this. I'm really impressed by Keat so far.
Yeah, they're looking great. Now, for Fnatic's side, Pronax is able to pick up an AK-47 off Bolt, so this is going to be an immediate save call out of him. So they're going to try and bring these ones into the next round and maybe pick up, maybe drop some of the CZs that they have in this round for Olaf, Meister, and Flusha, and it'll be another situation where it's, a force buy kind of situation for Fnatic.
So much on the line here between these two, and considering all of us are certainly saying this would be Fnatic's game, and the momentum should be with them from the start. We were theorizing what it would take necessarily for for Key to have the start it would take to let them build forward. Is this close enough yet? Is this enough for them to maybe be in this game so far?
Well, I mean, they're still into it, but they need to. I mean, Fnatic. This is still a scary situation with an M4 and an AK-47 and a Scout on Fnatic's hands. I mean, this is still one of those rounds with this kind of an arsenal that Fnatic is dangerous in. So Key needs to keep this up, keep the economy low, because you're seeing with those 3 weapons, they're going to force buy behind it. So the money is low, and if they're able to win one of these rounds and stabilize, force a save round, then you could start to see Keystars, that scoreline, rocket up a little bit for them early on.
And look at this stack from Fnatic. 3 players charging down Banana. They're not messing around, and actually Crims does find Fallen. They're low from this. Great control coming out from Fnatic, pushing up aggressively. And I don't think Keed expected that at all.
No, not at all whatsoever. And I mean, that's just Crims, that stellar play from him. But look at how low Crims and Olaf are. I mean, Bolts and ZQK are equally as low. But this is, that definitely caught Keystars off guard. You can see, as opposed to every other round, they've just migrated completely away from the Banana. They're going up towards the A bomb site.
Maybe something they had in mind here. Maybe they're tired of letting Key just kind of try that B play out. But let's see what First Steel and ZQK can bring towards this A site. 3 players present from Fnatic as well, so it's not going to be easy. And this man is phenomenal with the CZ, but doesn't get the best opportunity to put it into presence then. As we will see Steel still being very cautious, even peeking up against these guys right now. The bomb's not fully committed here either.
No, they're just going to let Steel try and poke and prod over towards CT spawn, see if they can find Flusher. They're letting him kind of do his thing, but Flusher, there's that dink immediately, and Steel falls, so even more dire for Keystars.
Flusher with this weapon, it just blows my mind how good he is consistently with the CZ, but Fur looking like maybe he wants to give it a crack, but it's going to be Pronax already picking up bolts, and you're down to Fur and ZQK, and they're not really in the ideal spot here. Maybe Fur could achieve something, as Olaf does just peer around towards Quad and gets his head taken off, but there's still Pronax, there's still Flusher, and there's JW coming around the corner. 7 seconds left, and I think ZQK just wants to keep hold of that AWP by now.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's going to be another buy behind this for Keystars, but a very nice recovery for Fnatic. Now they're going to have an even stronger buy going into the next round, and that aggressive push down B, that's what we talked about. Fnatic is not going to let Keystars, you know, every round, if they're starting to get that feel, they're going to be aggressive. They don't want to let Keystars set up for any kind of tactic that they want to do. That's kind of where TSM fell into the trap, where they felt like they couldn't take it away what Keystars wanted to do, and Fnatic found a way to do it that round.
Well, you can see the difference then, can't you? This is where they've done that prep, they've done that little bit of work, and it's clearly paying off. But once again, we're seeing something that Key just like to do, just constantly trying out on Banana first of all, putting players towards it. I think we've got JW actually boosted up as well there on towards Quad, so maybe lending a little from what they saw with Key.
Right. And this is something where if there's an execute up mid, if there's a smoke on that right side, JW's going to have a great vision over it, and that could help him out immensely. So they do have 2 players at Banana aggressive at it, and they don't feel anything. So they might continue to push down. They don't feel the presence of anyone. There is a smoke blocking it off still, but that allows Fnatic to have 3 players over towards the A, and they can either be aggressive or rotate one back to continue to help out.
I can't wait to see how Fnatic want to play this one through. Just so much kind of being played into these mind games between each other. Who makes the first move? Who wants to go for that commit? But still, I think just crossed past by Pronax, who might make the play here. And there we go. Pronax does push up and find him. So we are seeing Keed setting up like they look like they want to go towards A, but I want to see if they actually fully commit here. Looks like they are straight towards CT Arch. Flusher's backed away. Bolt's leading this one. Great counter flashes in the peak off the back of it. That was Flusher coming in, but Olaf already on the rotate. He is centimeters apart from them. Perfect example of that positioning just behind the smoke. Bolt gets absolutely obliterated. Fur, Fallen, and ZQK last alive, and they're just being pushed and pulled around that map.
Yeah, well, that's a beautiful, beautiful defense on that A bomb site for Fnatic. That peek over towards the Rap side, they didn't want to commit to the fight, but they had all that intel. They saw 2 to 3 players, and that allows Olaf to just be like, all right, I'll sit behind the smoke and just wait for it. One came through for him, and just slowly shut down the attack, not committing. And they just turtled up into that site and forced Keystars into awkward fights inside choke points.
It certainly didn't work out too well for them, but we are seeing something that we saw before. 3 mollies into place, 2 smokes, a couple of flashes, and this was something that consistently tested TSM on that B site. It's something that worked out several times. I'm not sure if it can work against Fnatic though. I'm wondering if we are already seeing this and predicted this could be a factor. I can imagine far beyond I even imagined it. Pronax was saying this could be a possibility. And I want to see how Fnatic now overcome this, because they look ready. There goes the flash. Olaf's just so confident to peek these corners.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a little bit of miscoordination from Olaf dropping the Molotov and his teammate throwing a smoke right on top of it. But now they have 3 players over here towards B. So this execute for Keatstars, if they still sit behind this smoke, it is not going to work. And they have vision down mid. One player peeking to see if they're going to fall back, and he sees absolutely nothing. So all 3 members of Fnatic are going to stay right there. Now Keatstars still just hanging out towards B, and they're going to try and poke and prod their way into it. And here comes the execute. Some blind Fnatic players, but Crims finds that headshot. And this is slowly just getting shut down. And now they have a molly they have to wait behind, and nothing really for Keatstars to work with until Fer gets that entry. But there's Olaf Meister swinging out.
You just can't stop players like Olaf. When he finds this form, he's just so formidable on these sides, coupled with the likes of Crims. And I just want to hear the vibe right now with the Keatstars boys. Obviously, my language skills are lacking, so if you guys at home can translate, go ahead.
Ja. Då symbol tar vi på den jobbar på isso. Vou avançar. Vou dominar meio com vocês. Esperar de uma janela, peraí.
To be fair, they sound pretty calm considering how much pressure Fnatic's putting towards them.
I mean, that's just a team who, you know, they have a plan on how they want to react to this. So when they know that it's happening, all they have to do is call it's happening, and they know what each of their teammates is going to do. They know how they want to react to it. So that's just the sign of a very prepared team.
And it certainly sounds like. If you guys at home know what they said, feel free to tweet through to us. We always appreciate kind of finding out. But still, for once, keeping a lot of their players alive a little earlier on before they've been certainly tagged up, pushed down, but not too much received so far. They are pretty much lining up once again towards what they eventually took in towards that wrap towards CT Arch, but nothing yet coming of it. The flashes are going in, Pronax and Crims are there, but you can see them a little more cautious on this because Pronax is just edging around the side of the smoke, spots out one, does get the spray, but doesn't get the follow-up. Nicely done by Pronax, finds ZQK with ease, as Bolts does reply towards JW, but Flusher locks it down from CT Arch, and Fallen and Bolt just going into this crossfire, and Pronax just playing time right now. He knows what's up, and it's beautiful to watch, but Bolt does at least get the kill, and they're finally getting in here.
Yeah, but they've got Crims to deal with on top of the balcony. He sprays one down and the second. So too many players for Fnatic over at that A site to get through, and Pronax deals so much damage initially, and Crims is there to clean it up.
And you were saying earlier, the crossfires that Fnatic can set up, they won't allow them past those choke points. And it just seemed like, okay, well, they got down one Fnatic member. Okay, well, there's still 2. There's still 3 to go past. It was like the never-ending line of Fnatic, and they're just reading this game really well, it seems.
Yeah, well, that play from Pronax, you know, taking the shot, he didn't get the kill initially, but as he falls back into the smoke, he just spams through it, knowing there's more than likely going to be a repeat, and he finds it. And he's able to just live long enough for those 3 kills. Crucial round. Keatstars on another save here. No real investment out of them. Fer does have a smoke and a flash, so they're going to use that to smoke up mid.
Well, this is something different. We didn't have to see them going towards this. This is probably maybe the secondary fallback to play at, considering at the moment they've been struggling on B, and Flusher just comes out, sprays down. You've got Olaf there, who does get picked up by Bolts, but no ground gained. He's got the bomb to hand. If he goes left, he's got Crims. If he goes right, he's got Pronax. He does at least find the M4, so maybe he can work something out, but 14 HP, 56 seconds, Crims getting ever closer. This would have to be something unbelievable, but Pronax, I think, just heard him and certainly has heard that as the bomb is going down now. Pronax comes in, spray from Bolts, doesn't catch him. Pronax is behind the other boxes. Look at this, Crims is just slowly working in, and it seemed inevitable with those 2.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, there was no chance of him winning it. That's why I'm kind of curious. A little bit of a mistake, in my opinion, to get off that bomb plant. You get it down. You had an eco round that you didn't really invest in, not even real armor. You get 3 kills, that's fantastic, and $800 on top of that is even better, but fortunately, they do have a large losing bonus going their way, so not a huge deal. They have everything they want, 3 Molotovs, they have the AWP and ZQK, and that's going to be tough. JW picks up one as well.
Not exactly the head-to-head you want, even if JW's not, been a huge factor yet, but ZQK can make an impact here. They are pushing down towards that smoke. He had the initial peek over. The information has been gathered, but JW is looking for this one as well. Still aware of it. JW, how the hell is he getting away with this? But Pronax didn't expect him to actually commit towards that push-up so quickly, but JW's going back. He's getting behind the smoke. This could catch off so many players if they're not aware of this, but Steel is right behind him. They've literally crossed each other. This is unreal, but JW just gets caught through the smoke. I guess Steel might have saw a glimpse of a foot or just a piece through the edge of the smoke here, but the bomb is still not with them, and Crims could make this so painful.
Yeah, he absolutely could. He's a scary player to have in pit. He's going to get caught out reloaded. Hasn't taken any damage yet. There's Bolts finding Olaf. Crims still alive. Flusher takes one down to bail him out. Give him a little bit of time, but both players in this A bomb site, now they have the read. They're going to go back. Should have gone back towards B already, but
Bolts is there. Oh, but great intuition from Flusher then, just checking why aren't they playing, why aren't they pushing. He catches them on the play out of it, and ZQK's in trouble now. They both know that bomb is down in mid. Bolts has to come back. They've got 30 seconds here. Flash towards CT, turned by Crims, and Flusher gonna come down and peek with that AWP. Not gonna get much as Crims was the one to find ZQK, as Bolts now 1v2.
This round just collapsed for Keithstars.
God, that went from bad to worse. It looked almost like they had something, and then that bomb being kind of left there, them slowly playing towards B, and I think it was Flusher just playing down towards mid, instantly peeking it, knowing something was up.
Well, he knew that both players had been spotted at the A bomb site, so the best option for Keithstars is to go back towards B, and it looked like that was the plan, but there was a slight hesitation. The bomb turns over towards the hay card underneath the window. Maybe a miscommunication in the call, but either way, Flusher takes complete advantage. That was actually a 3-on-5 win for Fnatic.
I just think you can't allow Fnatic to see weaknesses like that. They're a team that doesn't need help to, to punish anyone. You give them a glimpse and they will just go off it. But still, this is looking a little bit worrying for Keed. Only 2 rounds so far. I don't know how much they can achieve here as JW just cautiously waits for it. I don't think he got the tag there. I'm not sure. It might have actually done if that was Fallen going for that one. But still. Crims being consistent as ever. I just see Keed right now being outplayed on every position.
Yeah, well, the tough part is even when Keithstars has found an advantage in terms of manpower, they've struggled to close those rounds out, and now Fnatic has one of their own. So 8-2, and they've got. I mean, they're playing this. Look at how passively they're playing this now. They're switching things up so much from that crossfire over towards Porch and Rap side, and now they're playing it more turtled up in the site. And Pronax is even going to switch things up in the mid round.
Oh, but this is what he did before, and he did it perfectly when he re-peeked once he was in the smoke almost, but he's waited this out. Great flash comes in for him, allowing him to challenge down towards Fur, and there's the crossfire suddenly being put back into place after being so passive, just catching out Keed.
Yeah, they show a passive setup. They show that Keithstars finds out that they're not playing in mid. They show a passive, and then the mid round the call comes in to get aggressive. Pronax pushes towards that porch, and JW covers his boiler entrance or exit. And they shut everything down, so nicely done from those two, and a great call from Fnatic. And Keithstars ask for a pause here as they wait out ZQK, who's just trying to save his weapon. 10 seconds left, but they're going to want to talk things over.
You can't really blame him at 2 rounds as well. I'd certainly want to have maybe a discussion as to what's going on. But then again, as we theorized and discussed, it's especially on the desk they were discussing this, how much can you deal with what Pronax can do? This guy basically makes stuff up on the fly. Sometimes he adapts so well to what other teams are doing. I just don't know how much you can really sit back and go, well, let's discuss what's happening, because there's no constant.
Yeah, no, there really isn't. Fnatic, and that's one of the keys of Fnatic, is that things like that, where they show that passive setup and then they explode into aggressive in the mid round. None of them have any fear, and then they're all fearless players, and they're all confident in each other. So, I mean, you see Pronax spraying down in mid, 2 in mid, and JW even comes in to bail him out. So there's even a really good bank built up on the side of Fnatic. They have so much money behind this.
They've had so many players alive at the end of the round so many times. I haven't seen them drop below 2. It's unreal. They just constantly look so damn strong right now. I think this is what we were kind of imagining could happen. When Fnatic get a little frustrated, you start seeing what they can become, and it's a scary beast to play against.
Right. I mean, we mentioned yesterday in the analyst test that we could start seeing some cracks in Fnatic, that they were kind of, didn't seem to be that perfect storm that we've seen them in the past, but they almost seem like that one loss in the group stage to CLG kind of unites them and gives them a little bit more focus going forward. So, I mean, they're playing lights out at the moment.
And I'm really surprised how much Peter's actually kind of discussing with them. He's being an active member in this talk. I know he kind of gets behind them, he gets them hyped up sometimes. He's very much like the hype man almost, but he seems very actively involved. Maybe you can see something as he's got that more kind of step back of a perspective, seeing all of the screens there of how Keed are playing out. And I'll have to see if that can make a change. I'm kind of wondering what you can discuss in this. What can you do against Fnatic when they find this format? I don't know, but still, we'll have to wait and find out. And it was something actually Peter mentioned earlier. Fallen apparently wasn't feeling too good as well, feeling pretty unwell. So it could be playing a factor into his performance. Currently only on 2 kills, which is slightly uncharacteristic of that player.
T-side Inferno can be very, very difficult, and Keithstars played it great yesterday, but yeah. I mean, part of this also as well, Keithstars, they've been playing this, set up in almost this default. Once Fnatic got aggressive in that triple push towards Banana and shut things down, they haven't really wanted to go back to it. They've been scared to actually challenge that push. But they're playing in this passive default setup, looking for any kind of a push, taking what they can later on in the round, and they need to take the fight to Fnatic at this point. They need to get aggressive. They need to play just as fearless as they did versus TSM yesterday.
It's going to be an incredible mindset to be able to achieve if they can do that, and more credit to them if they can find this. They have 2 rounds right now. There's still a few available that could give them enough padding going into that second half to maybe do something here, but Keed need to dig deep. They need to find that kind of magic that they can bring out sometimes, that real flared play, that kind of aggression and that really explosive style that can just catch people out, and let's see if they can find it. The unpause come in as the final discussions are kind of being mulled over, but what are we looking at here? They've gone all in on this one.
Yeah, so the fact that they're force buying here with 3 Galils, that just tells you they have a plan. They came up with something during this pause that they want to execute. And this is the kind of situation now where you want your star player, you want Fer to step up.
Well, let's see if he can do that. That's a perfect beginning for Fallen, at least. Taking down JW on the aggressive peek towards Banana. You do have the smoke coming in from CT Arch, I can imagine. They're just to slow this down. But Keed looking like maybe this is what they need. Just a nice start after the pause. Just something to get their heads back into this game, because Crims now is alone on B until Olof can join him again. And this is a much nicer played out round for them. Where do you see them kind of taking this, or are they still testing this out?
I mean, with 5 on 4 and you have over a minute in the round, there's no reason to come through this smoke. So they're not going to mess with that one. They're going to wait it out a little bit longer. Olaf's going to pick up the AWP as well. And once again, just because it's Crims, they trust him to just play this B bomb site so incredibly well. But really, I mean, this is very identical to some of the early rounds we saw out of them. They go Banana, they have control, and there's only one player in Apartments who's trying to watch for this push. Pronax is going to come right into him, and who's going to win this one? It's going to be Steel. So a 5 on 3 now for Keedstars.
Slowly but surely, they are chipping away at Fnatic, and that's another nail in the coffin in this round at least, as Olof does go down and let loose that AWP that he picked up from JW earlier on. But still, Crims soloing on this B site. Flusher is edging round slowly but surely. I think he's starting to understand here, but still looking towards A, doesn't see anything, and Fallen is coming back around. Keed are not taking anything for granted here. Bolts has walked himself in towards B, where the 2 Fnatic players are, but the rest of Keed straight towards A.
Yeah, and they know it's clear now, so this is going to be a free bomb plant. It's up to Fnatic if they want to try and... I mean, they have some money if they want to go for a couple more kills, but should not be a round that they can come back and win, and they're coming down Banana very passively, so this is just going to be a save out of them. But a nice round from Keed, getting that opening pick, sweating out Fnatic. When they had over a minute left, they're watching for those pushes, they're watching for that information play, and they punish Pronax for it, pushing into halls, and they punish one other player peeking down in mid, so nicely done there from Keedstars.
I'm very impressed. Normally, not many teams are able to punish the likes of JW when he goes for those sort of shots, but to hit that, to get control, is a massive booster here. So I want to see more from that from Keed. I genuinely want to see these guys do well. I've never really had the pleasure of casting them, so it's always brilliant to see how these guys are able to forge these rounds together, and it is very explosive. So, after the pause, they come back in, they get the round. But the question is, now what does Fnatic do into kind of changing this? Do they just stop pushing out of apps? Do they play it differently? Do they, be a little more passive on B? Or is that maybe what Keed want them to respond to? These mind games are going to be pretty intense here, but looking at maybe what we've seen so far, how will Fnatic play this? Just see what they bring next round?
I would expect them to play it, passively initially. Once again, they're going to push out towards B. They have that smoke down, but JW with this op, he's going to play it aggressive on this lane side, and he looks like he almost wants to swing out towards mid, but either way, he likes to be aggressive with it here. Crims gets that opening pick over towards Banana, and a second one. Nicely
That's
done.
Devastating for Keed.
That's a dagger to the heart, really, in this round, especially a round they cannot afford to lose because their economy is going to be reset.
Absolutely. Steel, Fallen, ZQK just in as much trouble as Pronax locks down that play through apps. The bomb is loose in second mid. They don't have it to hand, and every single Fnatic player is standing. Pronax, yeah, a little tagged up, but certainly in no danger at the moment. He's sitting all the way back in pit, as Olof and Crims still on B. There is no easy way back into this round now for Keed. What options do they have? Where would you take this if you're in their position?
I'm trying to save the op. They're going to have... They survived the last round with about 4 players, I believe, so they should be able to buy outside of this round, but you do want to have that AWP. They've showed that they want to purchase it, so you might as well save it here, and you'll have a full buy basically surrounding it.
I think Fallen's going to have the opportunity to keep hold of this. He does have ZQK not too far off from him, so should be able to kind of work off each other and keep this to hand, but I'm wondering if Flusher saw them then.
Well, Fnatic has so much money, so many players alive, they're going to hunt this down. They know that's exactly what Keedstars want. They want them to go into the next round with the weakest buy possible.
And just behind the door, behind Flusher, I think the players are literally behind him. Yeah, they are. And there's the hello from Fallen, but it doesn't mean any more than he will probably just be able to keep hold of that AWP. No other players are close enough yet to really make the challenge. So at least they will get away with the AK in play still, with the head armor and the AWP as well. So, it's achieved its purpose into the end of that round.
Yeah, and now they have another force buy despite their economy being reset. So they have another chance here to get another full buy, excuse me. Bolts does have that Tech 9.
Yeah, not ideal, but Bolts has been playing quite surprisingly well, to be fair, and he did have an outstanding moment with the Tech 9 earlier on. But let's see what comes into this one. This is a different start from them. 4 players up second mid. They're maybe looking for a little difference, maybe make a faster play. Let's see what they bring from this one. Looks like they are lining up for those smokes maybe that they put down, but Fnatic, we know how they can switch up the pace so quickly, and Bolt's going to be flashed in here, going to go try and get control of CT Arch, and it's going to be flashed up, but backs away, and I think Bolts might have spotted the 2 players there, if not just one.
Yeah, they were both pretty flashed, so that fight really comes to nothing, but this is an aggressive play up the rat side. This is the fastest we've seen Keystars play. They're going to start swarming around into the bomb, so they get stuck at small pit, though. They haven't progressed, and there's Pronax finding a nice shot onto Fur.
And that smoke's going to start dissipating. You can see the pressure that comes from it. Flusher's already got one as well. It's down to Bolts and Steel. Flusher walks in. The bomb is just down, but Flusher does the cleanup duty, and Steel now 1v. It doesn't matter, because Olaf was alive and does the damage. And Fnatic, they never seem flustered. The amount of smokes that were in, the amount of vision they had was minimal into that round, yet they still seem so calm, so fully aware of how much control they really had.
Right, well, I mean, the player surviving in pit allows them a lot of opportunity to not have to get too crazy through those smokes. So that one player, he's able to delay things, able to, funnel them into the bomb site, keeping one player from even getting out halls to help clear the pathway for the teammates wrapping. And it just took too long. Fnatic players from the B bomb site were able to rotate over and support very quickly.
All right, let's see, Keed. It looks like they're going back to what they know. I see a couple of mollies maybe coming into place towards that B site, and JW going to start doing what JW does, just finding Steel crossing over towards mid. So that element completely removed now. I think they know where the rest of Keed probably are, considering how similarly they've been playing out these rounds to this degree. And Pronax is already going hunting for this, double checking if anyone else is here, gaining so much control on the CT side.
Yeah, well, here comes the execute, but they know that Steel was the player lurking.
Yeah, and look at this, Olaf positioning himself just so perfectly, knowing exactly where they are. Sadly, the deagle won't come off, but Crims still just sprays down. The backup's there as well, and you can't just find one player here. They all create this wonderful crossfire. They all just emerge, and this is a massive half score line.
Yeah, it really is. And what it kind of demonstrates is, Anders described it to me perfectly the other day, is that, the banana over on Inferno actually plays out like a mid. You have to have control of banana to be able to open things up on the other side of the map. And that was something where we saw Keystars was just never able to get that, whether it's Crims jumping up on that car and tapping up a couple heads over the smoke, or whether it's, him and Olaf Meister coming over, playing behind smokes, forcing them to stay far back. So Keystars could never get control like they wanted to. And that's exactly what we said Fnatic was going to do in this matchup.
I think the only time that springs to mind, there was probably 2 rounds they actually got the opening kill. There was once through smoke and once when after the pause.
Round.
Yeah,
yep.
There was those 2 rounds that come to mind, but you can't always depend on that, as we saw.
Yeah, and there was actually a 3rd round where they actually got themselves into a 5-on-3, but Fnatic still brought it back. That, they had that missed call rotating back towards banana, and that's when you have something like that where you fumble that 5-on-3, not only is it just incredibly demoralizing in terms of your team mood, your team morale, how you communicate. I mean, when you have Fnatic on the ropes, you have to make sure that you win those situations.
All right, guys, we're going to go to a little bit of a break here just to give the players some time to discuss through and hopefully adjust any problems going on stage. So, guys, we'll be back as soon as possible. For the delays, there's just a couple of issues that need to be resolved on stage. It shouldn't be too long, but still, we can start discussing what we've seen so far, and currently it's been the Fnatic show, really.
Oh yeah, and it's played out exactly how the analyst has talked about it.
Yeah.
Fnatic not letting Keed get anything they want. Keed really wanting banana control and not being able to wrestle it out of Fnatic's hands, and really not having a solution of where to go from there.
And it does seem like it's playing out exactly how the analysis desk said. You know, the crossfire's on point, no control on banana. That you know, everything has a choke point behind it, and even the players individually are playing very well. So, what really can Keed do? I don't know. They have so few rounds to work with now. Are we almost writing off map 1?
Yes. I mean, Fnatic. It's not even, it's even when situations where Fnatic seems to have a disadvantage that they're winning out in them.
Yeah.
And I think that, especially on Inferno, this is a great map for Fnatic. They love it, obviously. That was a great first half from them. And moving forward, there's so much dangerous, there's just too much of a comeback for Keedstars. Even if they get out to a hot start, they'd have to have just absolutely insane individual performances from multiple different players. And we haven't even seen glimpses of it yet.
There really hasn't been much. We saw Bolt having a good couple of moments at the very start of the game. Bolt's clearly showing he's able to perform, but as I said, the rest are actually quite quiet, which is something that I'm really not used to. Every time I've seen these guys play, they've had that explosive kind of game style that can really just kind of power them through the games. The entry kills are prime, and they just go off the back of it with such momentum, but really, it looks like Fnatic are just stopping that so early. They're just saying no to anything even beginning.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at situations where Fnatic started out the round so incredibly passive over towards that A-bomb site, and they make that mid-round call to get aggressive as soon as it looked like he's wanted to start executing their strategy.
I can't wait to see that back.
Completely counters it, and that's that's something that Keedstars is probably not. There's no North American team that does things like that quite yet. So it's something they haven't experienced. They haven't really gotten. And they are now, obviously, and they're struggling with it, but. Fnatic's just playing very, very well, and you can tell they do not want to drop the ball here.
Yeah, I think Devilwalk was the one who was summing it up perfectly. Like they were, you know, that embarrassment earlier on. You know, they didn't. You know, obviously they have a reputable brand. They don't want to, you know, let down the name. They don't want to let down their fans. And you can see the difference between Fnatic meaning business and Fnatic who fumbled a little in the early group stages. It looks like day and night.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Speaking of that, we are now ready to get back into games. So, massive scoreline Fnatic, 12-3 here. Keed, I want to see something good from these guys. I'd love to see them perform well here. I think Fnatic have certainly got the beginning they needed to kind of shrug off any of the worries that they may have had coming into this one, going, well, we did fumble earlier. But let's see what they can bring now. Pistol coming in. What do we need to look out for?
You need to look out for Flusha trying to make a play on his own, maybe try and swing that defense if he gets one pick. But look at this, 4 members of Fnatic up in the halls. There's 3 members on the Rap side, and that nade is beautiful from Bolts. But so is that shot from Olaf and JW. They combine to take him out. ZQK trying to rotate in time. He does. He gets the Molotov down. That pushes him back a little bit.
Yeah, Fuzz being the linchpin in mid. Stunning double comes in for him. Pinning the heads of Pronax and Flusha to the wall. He makes it a third. Crims goes down. And that's the individual power I was waiting to see.
Yeah, that's a big-time play from the player who needs to start stepping it up. If they want a chance to come back, Fur's going to have to be one of the players who can get him into it. But let's not count out. It's JW and Olaf Meister, so there's still a chance here. There's still 40 seconds left on the clock. The issue is Fallen has pushed down B. He's covering any kind of fallback or rotation plan from Fnatic, so they're kind of stuck at the moment unless they can flush him out.
Wow. And yeah, Fallen just getting the information that no one's going that way. He might actually spot out JW here any second now. He will. Takes his time. Maybe going to wait to see the others get the bomb in an ideal position. Called to Fur, who does close out that round with 4 kills. And in such a brilliantly hard spot to play as well. These guys were walking up mid. Okay, you might get the exchange on 1 and maybe, if you're lucky, make it back. But to get 3 there and deny them that.
Yeah, it was that second kill. He gets the first one on Boiler and he's backpedaling and grabs him in mid. That was a stunning shot. A huge play from Fur, but this is where they struggle. Now that they've won this pistol round, they're not out of it just yet. They struggled with the second rounds after winning pistol all season long in North America, and Fnatic, they're miles above many teams on these 4 spies.
Yeah, it's only a point. So, for example, Inferno, they only have a 40% global pistol win rate on the Keedstar side, which is substantially lower than most, which it's still incredible that they had such a good record, 4-1 overall as well. So you can see that even though they're not the strongest in the pistols, they do have those strengths elsewhere. But let's see if they can handle this. As said, issues before, 3-2 split from the T side going to come in. We've got First sitting up on the ledge, up on the balcony, 1 in pit. JW does get down Bolts, but there we go. Flusha breaks in, and you said it. These guys struggle here when the The pressure is applied, but here comes Fallen bouncing in towards the side. Just bursts in, denies the plant, gets control, but can't get the kill. Now Steel has to deal with this. Flusher does have the gun to hand as well. He's got that FAMAS. It's not ideal, but it's something. And still with that molly. Edging in slowly, bomb goes down. And Flusher gets a bit of information, but kind of got caught on the way out then. And still hits that headshot and will get the defuse.
Yeah, and you know what? Fnatic might just force buy again here. They have a bomb plant. They got 4 kills. They know the economy's going to be a little bit weak for Keatstars, and they might just decide to keep the pressure up and go for another one.
Let's see. Let's see if they do. Just my mind can't help but go back to that overpass game against TSM where they forced up in, I think it was like almost the second to last round, and it got them that far. It got them towards match point, and these guys are so confident in these kind of really shambolic buys. You've got the AK with JW, absolutely no armor with it. AK with Olaf, a couple of Tech 9s, and there we go. They are buying up some armor, but this is still just such a ramshackle buy. Yeah,
it's actually very unlike Fnatic that they don't seem that coordinated. They had players, pushing. Crims is already in banana. Players were still in spawn buying, so very, very late call from Fnatic that you don't see very often.
This is kind of curious. I want to see what they have in store here. It's, as you said, slightly unorthodox. Olaf's just going walkabouts. He's having a great time.
It's interesting that JW has an AK with no armor when they have Crims with the Deagle and Flusha with some armor, and both Crims and Flusha have. And there it is. Now he's going to have to pass that off. He eats a nade down to 7 HP.
It doesn't make sense to me, but who am I to doubt the minds of these guys? But still, JW will fall. Doesn't get to drop off the AK either. I think it may have just fallen in someone else's hands, but still, Olaf is going to make the play towards Bolts. That doesn't really open up too much, but they are swinging off the back of it. You've still got ZQK and Fur here.
Yeah, you also still have Olaf, Meister, and Flusha who can make some big plays. There's one player hiding in the site just on the other side of this box, and they're going to execute up. He's alone. His teammate at Small Pit has looked away, but there's ZQK with the P90 looking up. They didn't clear him out, but they get the kills. It's now a 2-on-2, and the 2 Keatstars members are so far away. Fnatic has so much time to set up and post-plant.
And both of these players have the AKs now to hand. Pronax was able to pick it up. He doesn't have armor to suit it, but Olaf does. And Olaf's going to be sat down in pit. Pronax towards the smoke. Hopping up, trying to get that little bit of information there. Does spot out at least one. Keed going to start getting closer here. It's Steel and Fallen just slowly edging in. Olaf looking for the shot. He catches a glimpse of one. He's cautious of the other, but the time is running out. They don't have a kill. Well, Steel did have one, but it doesn't matter. Pronax and Olaf with the crossfire coming in. And it just seemed that they just got overwhelmed with that instant rotate out Fnatic on towards A.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's the big difference is that Fnatic, when they're defending that A-bomb site, they had vision. They had a player in pit. They had vision down that lane. And when Keatstars, they played one P90 behind that box close up. He wasn't able to get enough. His teammate had just turned around to check Rap side. So a little bit unfortunate on the timing, but that's the danger of Fnatic. And once again, it looked like another round where they were in a really, really tough spot.
Still blows my mind. After such a strange sort of, buy into that round, they can just turn it on, turn it around, and just do that sort of damage. And now looking at the state of Keatstars, they've, 5-7s, a grenade, a P250, a CZ. It's really not, what you want to be working with in these rounds. But still, Steel will find Flusher, which is a great beginning. Gets some control of Banana, but needs to be careful of that molly as he does just be able to hop out and get himself back to safety. Crimson Pronax still there. You've got Olaf and JW starting to stretch their legs.
Look at this gamble from Keatstars. Yeah, 2 players just ran out of B and now they decided to turn around. So this is maybe a little bit of confusion on Keatstars. Don't have all the intel, but they're definitely feeling some pressure up mid from JW, making a lot of noise, making sure his presence is known, and that's causing Keatstars to be very worried. Well, all the while, the bomb's over at B.
Let's see what Steel can do. He's seen Crims, but he doesn't know Pronax is there with that bomb, and they've completely opened up this side. Fallen's still a little off the spot. He's by CT spawn, and you're going to see JW and Olaf wrapping around. It's going to be basically a 4-on-1. Fallen's surrounded on all fronts. He only has that P250, and Fnatic break in, and it just seemed that Keed kind of played into Fnatic's hands there.
Yeah, and Fnatic forced him to. With JW making so much noise, they got that pick. They had complete bracket control. But look at Fur on the flank. He does have a CZ. He could stop this plant at the least. And he is. He's going to come out. He's going to give it a couple taps. So it's now down to a 2-on-2. This is a winnable round for Keatstars.
10 seconds left as well. It's starting to look a little better. And Olaf does deny Fur from Banana, but the bomb is down now. Bolts 1v1. He does get the first, denied the second. Crims locks it down on, that B bomb site that he loves so much. And he gets Fnatic so much closer to this first map win. 14-5 now. Key do at least get some money back with them and, of course, get the weaponry to suit. But that round did get pretty close, to be fair.
Yeah, it did. That was well done by Keatstars. We just don't see that coming out often enough. And now I look at this buy that they're forced into. This is a really tough spot. 3 FAMASes, 3 smokes and no kits whatsoever on the Keystars. Has not even any head armor whatsoever. So they're feeling the pressure. And Fnatic, I mean, just to talk about one more thing they're good at is really abusing the money system when they know their opponents are low, but Olaf gets baited into that peek towards Rap side and Fur eliminates him.
Yeah, great start for Fur then. As the rest of Fnatic, though, just going to speed up the play towards B, it seems. JW just takes down Steel in one step, has fallen now back of side by Fountain, just going to be trying to dodge and dip and weave, but doesn't get even a glimpse of JW almost as he picks him up there. Smokes down, bombs on the way, and it looks like Keto completely locked out of this side, but ZQK maybe wants to just go for a little walkabout, but Flush is already holding this angle.
That's a crucial kill from Bolts to even things up. ZQK is very low, and their third player is still an alternate mid. It seems like he thinks there's going to be a lurker, but he's not finding anything. Or maybe they just had no intention of going for that, no kits whatsoever, so they're going to fall off this one behind those smokes. And that's what I was talking about, Fnatic. They know the money situation on Keystars. They're able to just bully their way into that choke point over at B. There's not enough flashbangs to slow them down. There's not Molotovs to block it off. There's not enough smokes to keep it blocked off for the entire round. So they're able to just swing in, find one kill, and then continue the pressure.
Yeah, Fur's been kind of around this point for quite some time. As you said, he was there so early on, he barely even looked towards B. So I actually spun out Pronax, but Pronax is just going to be playing this one calm as well. So it looks like everyone's going to get away with these weapons. And we are into the first map point. But at the moment, at a 15-5 scoreline, Keed need to do something unreal to even get a glimmer of hope back into this game, or at least this map. We're going on to another one afterwards, of course. Train, a little bit of a different ordeal, a very different matter there. But still have to close this one out. What do we see coming out for the T side? Anything indicative of a play yet, or just them going for the standard way to start this one off?
It's going to be something very, very similar because they know the economy is still very weak. So, I mean, look at this. There is a trade. Fur gets one. JW finds it. Oh, and he peeks into a stack. So now he's got that intel. That's going to make Pronax speed things up. That flash might do the trick. It is. He completely blinds both of them. Pronax sprays down the first and he grabs the second as well.
Absolutely astounding play from Pronax. Technically brilliant. And then the aim to back it up just blows my mind. But Flush are now going to bring that bomb in, chuck it down to Crims. Bomb will be planted. Steel and Fallen 2v3. It's time for the retake, or this map is done and dusted. And Fnatic already very nicely set up.
Yeah, and only one smoke for Keystars as well. No kits. They've got to hurry this up, and they've got so many kills to find. But another great flashbang, and Fnatic. That call by Pronax, as soon as they spot that double stack, he gets out quick enough before they can rotate back to cover the halls, and he causes so much damage.
Yeah, Fnatic just kind of, it seemed like business to them, you know what I mean? They turned up, they knew what they had to achieve, and they got it done. And in that sort of scoreline is pretty indicative of Fnatic, meaning, you know, they wanted to prove a point, but of course, Train still to come. This is a best of 3. It's not over yet. Keystars have that another shot. They can take it to that third map, which will be Dust 2, which is another one up in the air. So guys, there's a lot to be seen still to come between these two. So don't go too far away after this break.